Wife had an affair and asked for an open marriage so she could keep seeing him. So I emptied our accounts, and left her crying in court with nothing. I need to tell you about the night my marriage ended, even though it took another 4 months for the paperwork to make it official. Friday evening. Late September. I'd just gotten home from a site inspection on a commercial build we were wrapping up in the next county. I'm a senior project manager in commercial construction. Basically, I make sure buildings get built on time and on budget, and I deal with everyone's problems when they don't. My wife Whitney was in the kitchen when I walked in. She teaches high school art, and usually Friday nights she's exhausted, already in sweats, complaining about her week. But that night she was still in her work clothes. Hair done. Makeup fresh. She looked nervous. "Hey," she said. "Can we talk? Like, actually sit down and talk?" I grabbed a beer from the fridge. "Sure. What's up?" We sat at the dining table. The same table I'd bought when we moved into this house. The house I'd purchased 2 years before I even proposed to her. We'd been together 11 years total, married for 8. She folded her hands on the table. Took a breath. And then she said it. "I want us to consider opening our marriage." I didn't react. Just took a sip of beer and waited. She continued, words coming faster now like she'd rehearsed this. "I've been thinking a lot about what we have, what I need, and I think monogamy is restrictive. I think we've evolved past that as a society, you know? And I've developed feelings for someone else. Strong feelings. But I don't want to lose you either, so I thought if we approached this honestly, maturely, we could make it work for everyone." I set the beer down. "Who is he?" She blinked. "What, the someone else? Who is it? Does that matter right now?" "Yeah, Whitney." "It does." She looked away. "His name is Donovan. He's a parent of one of my students. We've been talking a lot and..." "How long?" "About 3 months. But it's just emotional right now, nothing physical. I wanted to talk to you first before anything happened." I almost laughed. "Nothing physical. Right." 3 months of talking and she still had the nerve to pretend she was being honorable about this. "What exactly are you asking for?" I kept my voice level. "I'm asking if we can explore an open arrangement, where we're honest with each other about seeing other people. It's very common now, especially with people our age who want to grow." "What does he do?" "What, Donovan? What's his job?" She frowned, confused by the question. "He's in real estate investment. He's divorced, 1 kid. He's really successful and She stopped herself. "Why does this matter?" "Just trying to understand the full picture." I leaned back. "So you want permission to date him while staying married to me?" "It's not like that." "Then what is it like?" She got defensive. "I'm trying to be honest instead of sneaking around." "Isn't that what you'd want?" "I thought you'd appreciate me coming to you instead of lying." There it was. The frame job. She was doing me a favor by asking permission after she'd already caught feelings and spent 3 months building whatever this was with some divorced real estate guy. I looked at her. Really looked at her. And I felt something click into place in my head. Something cold and clear. "I need time to think about this," I said. Her face brightened. "Really? You'll actually consider it?" "It's a big ask, Whitney. I need to process." She reached across the table and squeezed my hand. "Thank you. I know this is unconventional, but I really think we can make this work if we communicate." I nodded. Finished my beer. Told her I was going to bed early. That night I lay awake next to her, listening to her breathe. She fell asleep easy. Peaceful. Like she'd just solved a problem instead of detonating our entire marriage. I stared at the ceiling in the dark and made a decision. If she wanted to burn this down, fine. But I was going to make damn sure I was the only one who walked away from the ashes. Saturday morning I woke up before Whitney and went for a run. Needed to clear my head, think through what came next. By the time I got back, she was making breakfast. Pancakes. She hadn't made breakfast in probably 2 years. "Morning," she said, all smiles. "Thought we could have a nice weekend together." "Sounds good." I kissed her on the cheek like nothing had changed. Over breakfast, I brought it up casually. "So I'm thinking about what you said. I want to understand it better. Are there rules to this kind of thing?" Her eyes lit up. She actually had a list. Apparently she'd done research. Safe lovemaking, honesty about partners, regular check-ins between us. She'd thought this through. "Have you told Donovan you're doing this?" I asked. "Not yet. I wanted to make sure you were okay with it first." Liar. But I just nodded. "Makes sense. Give me a couple weeks to really wrap my head around it." "Of course. Take all the time you need." That afternoon, while she ran errands, I got to work. First stop, our joint bank accounts. We had checking and savings both in our names. I logged in and started scrolling through transactions from the past 6 months. There it was. Charges I didn't recognize. Nordstrom, Twice in 1 week for amounts she never spent. Dinner at an Italian place downtown on a Tuesday night. I'd been on site that day until 8. A hotel charge in the next county for a Friday in August. She'd told me she was at a teaching conference. I screenshot everything. Then I pulled our phone records. We were on a family plan, had been since we got married. I could see call logs, text message counts. One number showed up constantly starting in late June. Hundreds of texts. Calls that lasted an hour or more, always during my work hours. I ran the number through a reverse lookup site. Donovan Hayes. Real estate investor based 20 minutes from Whitney's school. 3 months Maya word. Try closer to 4. Monday morning I called Troy. We went to college together, played on the same intramural basketball team. He specialized in family law now, had his own practice. I need to see you, I said. Today if possible. He cleared space at lunch. I drove to his office and laid it all out. Troy listened, taking notes. When I finished, he leaned back in his chair. So she hasn't filed yet? No. She thinks I'm considering her open marriage proposal. He almost smiled. Okay. Here's what we're going to do. Don't file yet. Don't tip your hand. You need to start separating assets now, while you have time. How? Open a new personal checking account at a different bank. Redirect your paycheck. Transfer money from the joint accounts, legally, if it's your income, you can do that. Pay off any joint credit cards and remove yourself. Document everything you've paid for versus what she's contributed. He paused. That house, when did you buy it? 2 years before I proposed. And the mortgage? Always been in my name. My credit. My payments. Troy nodded. That's separate property then. She can't touch it. Over the next week, I executed everything Troy outlined. New account at a credit union across town. Called payroll, switched my direct deposit. Transferred almost everything from our joint savings. I'd contributed 95% of it anyway. Paid off both credit cards in full, then called to remove myself as the account holder. I kept it surgical. Methodical. And I did it all while acting completely normal at home. Whitney didn't notice. She was too busy being suspiciously nice. Cooking dinners. Asking about my day. Touching my arm when we talked. Classic guilt behavior. Thursday night, 1 week after her proposition, she brought it up again. So, have you given more thought to what we discussed? I looked up from my laptop. Yeah. Still processing. It's a lot to consider. She sat next to me on the couch. I know it is. I appreciate you being open-minded about this. Can I ask you something? Have you already done anything with him? Physically? No. I told you, I wanted to talk to you first. The lie came so smooth. So practiced. Okay, I said. I just need a little more time. She kissed my cheek. Take all the time you need. Friday afternoon, Troy called. I have someone I want you to meet with. Private investigator. Good guy, discreet. Just to document things, get evidence if you need it. Do it. That night I lay in bed again, Whitney already asleep beside me. My phone buzzed. Email from an unknown sender, the PI Troy had hired. Subject line, initial findings. I got up, went to the bathroom, locked the door. Opened the email, 4 photo attachments. I clicked the first one, Whitney and Donovan in a hotel parking lot. His arm around her waist. The timestamp read Tuesday, 4:54 p.m. I'd been at a contractor meeting. Second photo. Them entering the hotel lobby together. Third photo. Donovan's car still in the lot 2 hours later. Fourth photo. Whitney leaving alone, fixing her hair, checking her phone. I stared at the screen. Felt absolutely nothing except cold, perfect clarity. She wasn't asking permission. She was asking for forgiveness she'd never earned. I forwarded the email to my personal account, then to Troy. Then I flushed the toilet, washed my hands, and went back to bed. Whitney stirred when I got in. Everything okay? Yeah, I said. Everything's fine. 2 weeks after that conversation, I'd moved every dollar I'd earned out of our joint accounts. The mortgage, utilities, insurance, all still getting paid, but now from my personal account on autopay. The joint account sat there with maybe $300 total. Her contribution from the last 2 months, Whitney still hadn't noticed. She was too distracted, probably spending her evenings texting Donovan about their future together. At home, I kept up appearances. Cordial. Distant, but not hostile. Like a roommate you got along with but didn't really know anymore. But Whitney was getting antsy. I could tell. She'd check her phone constantly, smile at texts she thought I couldn't see. She'd started dressing nicer for work. New perfume. She was already mentally gone. Tuesday night, she finally cracked. I really need an answer soon, she said over dinner, takeout Thai I'd paid for. About what we discussed. This isn't fair to any of us. Donovan and I have been waiting and it's hard, you know? I set down my fork. You're right. I've made my decision. Her whole face changed. Brightened. She actually smiled. Really? And, I want a divorce. The smile died. What? You heard me. Wait, no. I said I wanted to try an open marriage. I didn't say divorce. Why would? Because you already made your choice, Whitney. I'm just respecting it. She stood up from the table. That's not, I made a mistake, okay? If this is too much, I'll end things with Donovan. I'll stop. We can go to counseling, we can work through this. No. What do you mean, no? I stayed seated, kept my voice level. You spent months building a relationship with another man. You spent money we didn't have on hotel rooms and dinners and new clothes for him. You lied to my face about teaching conferences and late staff meetings. And then you sat me down and asked permission to keep doing it, like that was somehow noble. I was trying to be honest. You were trying to have it both ways. You wanted him in the life I gave you. You wanted excitement and security. You can't have both. Her eyes welled up. So that's it? 8 years and you're just done? You were done 3 months ago. I'm just catching up. She wiped her eyes, and something shifted in her expression. The tears stopped. Her jaw set. Fine. If that's what you want, I'll file. But you're going to regret this. I get half of everything. The house, the savings, your retirement. You think you can just walk away? I gave you 8 years of my life. File the papers, Whitney. Oh, I will. And when we get to court, you're going to realize how badly you screwed yourself. My lawyer is going to tear you apart. I just looked at her. We done here? She grabbed her purse and her phone. I'm staying at my sister's tonight. Maybe longer. I can't be around you right now. Take your time. She left, slamming the door behind her. I sat there in the quiet house for a minute. Then I texted Troy, she's filing. Heads up, he responded immediately, good. Let her. We're ready. Whitney stayed gone for 2 weeks. Radio silence except for one text asking if she could come get more of her things while I was at work. I said fine. Then the papers came. Delivered to the house on a Thursday afternoon. Petition for dissolution of marriage. Her lawyer was someone named Patricia Vance, had an office in a fancy building downtown. I scanned through the demands. Half of all marital assets. Half the house value. Spousal support for 5 years based on lifestyle maintenance. Division of my 401k. I forwarded everything to Troy. He called me an hour later. Her demands are aggressive. She's going for the throat. Can she get any of it? Not if we play this right. The house is yours. The accounts are your income. We've got documentation of her affair. But she's going to make this ugly. Let her try. That night, Whitney posted on social media for the first time in weeks. A photo of her and Donovan at some waterfront restaurant. Sunset in the background. Her head on his shoulder. Caption, finally happy. Finally free. I screenshotted and added it to the evidence folder. 10 minutes later, my phone buzzed. Text from Whitney, I hope you've got a good lawyer. You're going to need one. You can't just walk away from 8 years of marriage with everything. I stared at the message for a long moment. Then I opened my files and looked at the folder labeled financial documentation. Bank statements. Mortgage records. Credit card bills. 8 years of proof that I'd paid for every single thing while she coasted. I opened another folder. Evidence of affair. Hotel receipts. Eye photos. Phone records. Text message logs. I didn't respond to her message. Just added the screenshot to a new folder. I labeled it, threats and manipulation attempts. 3 months until the court date. She thought she had leverage. She had no idea what was coming. The next few weeks were a masterclass in emotional manipulation. First came the texts. Long ones. Paragraphs about how much she missed me, how we'd built a life together. Couldn't we just talk like adults? I deleted them without responding. Then she showed up at one of my job sites. I was in a meeting with the structural engineer when my foreman radioed that someone was asking for me at the gate. I walked out and there she was, standing by the security checkpoint in a dress I'd bought her for our anniversary 2 years ago. We need to talk, she said. We have lawyers for that. This is ridiculous. We can settle this ourselves without dragging it through court. Your lawyer's demands didn't sound like settling. They sounded like extortion. She tried a different angle. Softer voice. I know I hurt you. I know I messed up. But destroying each other isn't going to fix anything. I'm not destroying anyone. I'm just not funding your new life. That house is half mine. No, it isn't. But you'll figure that out soon enough. I walked back to the site. Told security not to let her through again. Next came the friends. Mutual ones from our marriage. They started reaching out. Hey man, Whitney's really struggling. Maybe you two should try counseling? Or worse, I know she made a mistake, but don't you think you're being a little harsh? I kept my responses simple. It didn't work out. I'm moving forward. The ones who pressed, I cut off. The ones who accepted it, I kept around. Funny how quickly you learn who's actually loyal when your life falls apart. But behind all the noise, Troy and I were building an airtight case. He had everything organized in binders. Tab 1, financial records showing I'd paid the mortgage, utilities, car payments, insurance, groceries, everything, for 8 years straight. Bank statements with highlighted deposits, all from my income. Whitney's teacher's salary barely covered her car payment and shopping habit. Tab 2, the house. Deed in my name only. Purchased October 2014. We got married June 2017. Down payment for my savings. Every mortgage payment from my account. Refinanced once in 2019, still just my name because her credit wasn't good enough to qualify. Tab 3, the affair. High photos with timestamps. Hotel receipts charged to our joint credit card, the one I'd paid off and closed. Phone records showing hundreds of texts and hours of calls to Donovan's number. Screenshots from her social media playing happy couple. Whitney's lawyer, Patricia Vance, sent increasingly aggressive settlement offers. First, half of everything, 5 years spousal support. Second, 40% plus 3 years support. Third, 35% plus 2 years. Troy responded to each one the same way. No. See you in court. 1 month before the hearing, Whitney's tone changed. She texted asking to meet in person. Please. Just coffee. No lawyers. Troy said it was fine as long as I didn't admit fault or make promises. We met at a coffee shop near her sister's apartment. She looked tired. Thinner. Her confidence from that restaurant photo with Donovan was gone. Thanks for coming, she said when I sat down. You've got 15 minutes. She wrapped her hands around her coffee cup. Do you remember our first date? That little Mexican place that closed down? Whitney. We were so happy back then. We had something real. Don't you remember the good times? I remember working 60-hour weeks while you complained about being bored. I remember paying for every vacation, every dinner out, every luxury you enjoyed while contributing nothing. I remember you asking for an open marriage instead of just ending things honestly. Her eyes hardened. I made a mistake. One mistake. Can't you forgive me? Forgiveness doesn't mean I owe you my future or my money. You're being cruel. I'm being fair. You wanted out. I'm giving you out. She set down her cup, voice rising. You think you're so superior. Like you're perfect. I gave you the best years of my life. You gave me 8 years of financial dependence and one affair. I'm good. People at nearby tables were starting to look. I stood up. The court will see how unfair you're being, she said, desperation creeping in. You can't just cut me off with nothing. I have rights. See you in court, Whitney. I was halfway to the door when she grabbed my arm. Donovan and I are serious. We're moving in together next month. I'm starting a real life. One where I'm actually valued. I looked at her hand on my arm, then at her face. Congratulations. Hope he knows what he's getting into. I pulled free and walked out. In my truck, I sat for a minute before starting the engine. My phone buzzed. Text from Troy. Her lawyer just filed amended demands. They're asking for 70% of liquid assets and full spousal support for 5 years. She's going nuclear. Court in 4 weeks. Time to finish this. The 4 weeks crawled by. I worked. Went to the gym. Kept my head clear. Whitney went silent after that coffee shop meeting. No more texts, no more showing up places. She was putting everything into the court hearing. Fine by me. The morning of, I put on my best suit. Navy blue, tailored. White shirt, dark tie. Troy met me at the courthouse steps. You ready? He asked. Let's end this. We walked through security and down the hall to the courtroom. Whitney was already there with Patricia Vance, sitting at the plaintiff's table. Whitney wore a conservative black dress, minimal makeup, hair pulled back. Playing the victim role, and sitting in the gallery right behind her was Donovan. Moral support, I guess. He was maybe 40, graying at the temples, expensive watch. He didn't look at me. The bailiff called us to order. Judge Henderson presided, older guy, probably close to retirement, with a reputation for no-nonsense rulings. He reviewed the case file, then nodded to Patricia Vance. Counselor, you may proceed. She stood, smoothed her jacket. Your Honor, this is a straightforward case of equitable distribution. My client contributed 8 years to this marriage and is entitled to her fair share of marital assets. The respondent has demonstrated a pattern of financial control, limiting my client's access to funds, making unilateral decisions about their shared resources. She painted a picture of me as some kind of tyrant. Said Whitney had sacrificed career advancement opportunities for our marriage. Said she deserved compensation for her contributions as a homemaker, which was rich considering we'd had a cleaning service I paid for. My client simply seeks what the law entitles her to, Patricia concluded. An equitable division and reasonable support as she rebuilds her life. Judge Henderson looked unimpressed but gestured for her to continue with evidence. Patricia submitted Whitney's financial affidavit claiming hardship, her teaching salary breakdown, a list of marital assets she believed should be divided. Then Troy stood up for cross-examination. Mrs. Hayes, he began, she'd already taken back her maiden name apparently. Can you tell the court how much you contributed monthly to the household expenses during your marriage? Whitney shifted in her seat. I contributed what I could. We were a team, what I could. Let me be more specific. Mortgage payment, did you contribute to that? Well, no, but utilities? Insurance? Property taxes? Those were in his name. I'm asking if you paid them. Yes or no? No. Groceries? Car payments for both vehicles? Her lawyer objected. Your Honor, this is harassing. Overruled. Answer the question. Whitney's face flushed. No. He handled most of that. Troy nodded and presented the first exhibit. Bank statements, 8 years worth, highlighted to show deposits and withdrawals. Every mortgage payment, every utility bill, every major expense, all from my account, my income. These records show you contributed less than 5% to household finances over the course of your marriage. Is that accurate? I had a smaller income. I thought we were building a life together. We'll get to that. Troy pulled out the next exhibit. This is the deed to the marital home. Purchase date October 2014. Your marriage date June 2017. Can you explain how a house purchased before you were married constitutes marital property? Patricia stood. Your Honor, my client helped maintain the home. Troy cut in. Exhibit C, Your Honor. Receipts for professional cleaning services, landscaping, and home repairs, all paid for by my client. Where exactly did Mrs. Hayes contribute to maintenance? Judge Henderson leaned forward, studying the documents. Then Troy went for the throat. Exhibit D, Your Honor. Timeline of an extramarital affair beginning approximately 4 months before my client was asked for an open marriage. He handed photos to the bailiff for the judge. These are surveillance photos dated over several weeks. Hotel visits, romantic dinners, intimate contact, all while Mrs. Hayes was still living in my client's home, using his financial support. Whitney's face went white. Patricia shot to her feet. Your Honor, my client's personal relationships are not relevant to asset distribution in a no-fault divorce state. They're relevant to credibility, Troy said calmly. And to her claims of good faith in this marriage. These hotel charges, Exhibit E, were placed on a joint credit card. My client paid for his wife's affair without knowing it. He laid out the phone records next. Hundreds of texts. Hours of calls. Whitney started crying. Quiet at first, then openly sobbing. Donovan looked uncomfortable in the gallery. Judge Henderson's expression was stone. Is there more, counselor? Just the financial summary, Your Honor, showing clear separate property and minimal marital contribution from the plaintiff. Patricia requested a recess. The judge granted 15 minutes. I stepped out into the hallway, loosening my tie. Needed air. That's when Donovan approached me. Hey, he said quietly. Can I talk to you for a second? I turned. Make it quick. He ran a hand through his hair. Look, man, I didn't know she was married when we first met. She told me she was separated. That you two were basically done. She lied to you too. Seems to be a pattern. He nodded, looking genuinely uncomfortable. For what it's worth. She's been asking me for money lately. A lot of it. Said her bank accounts got frozen, that you'd locked her out of everything. I've been helping her with rent, bills, something cold settled in my chest. Her accounts didn't get frozen. They just never existed the way she told you. The money was always mine. She contributed almost nothing for 8 years and expected it to keep flowing when she left. Donovan's face changed as realization hit. She said you had a joint account with 6 figures in it. That you emptied it out of spite. It was my income. Every dollar. Joint account in name only. Jesus. He looked back toward the courtroom. She told me once we moved in together, once the divorce settled, we'd be comfortable. That she was getting enough to buy a condo, maybe start over. She's getting nothing, I said flatly. That's what this hearing is about. Before he could respond, the bailiff called us back in. Donovan stayed frozen in the hallway as I walked past him. Inside, Judge Henderson was already at the bench, reading through the exhibits one more time. He looked up as we took our seats. I'm ready to rule. The courtroom went silent. Whitney gripped the edge of the table, knuckles white. Patricia Vance had her pen ready, probably expecting to negotiate after a preliminary ruling. Judge Henderson adjusted his glasses and began. I've reviewed all submitted evidence, financial records, and testimony. This case presents itself as relatively straightforward despite the dramatics. He looked directly at Whitney. Mrs. Hayes, your petition requests 70% of liquid assets, half the home value, and 5 years of spousal support. Let's address each claim. He flipped a page. On the matter of liquid assets, the evidence shows conclusively that all funds in the joint accounts were derived from the respondent's income over the course of the marriage. You contributed less than 5% to household finances. The respondent legally transferred his own earnings to a separate account prior to divorce filing. Nothing about those transfers was fraudulent or improper. Therefore, there are no liquid assets subject to division. Request denied. Whitney's breathing got faster. Patricia scribbled notes, but her face was tight. On the matter of the marital home, the property was purchased in October 2014, over 2 years prior to your marriage. The deed, mortgage, and all financial responsibility remained solely with the respondent. By law, this constitutes separate property. You have no claim to it. Request denied. Whitney made a small choking sound. Judge Henderson wasn't done. On the matter of spousal support, you are gainfully employed full-time as a public school teacher. The marriage lasted 8 years with no children and no documented evidence of career sacrifice. Your own testimony confirms you made minimal financial contribution by choice, not by restriction. Additionally, evidence of your extramarital affair demonstrates you were already planning a separate life with financial expectations from another partner. He looked up from his notes, directly at Whitney. North Carolina doesn't require fault for divorce, but it does consider conduct when determining support. You engaged in an affair, asked your husband for an open marriage while continuing that affair, then filed for divorce demanding substantial assets you never contributed to. The court finds no basis for spousal support. Request denied. Patricia stood. Your Honor, if I may. You may not. I've made my ruling. He signed the documents in front of him. All marital debts have been satisfied by the respondent prior to filing. Each party will be responsible for their own legal fees. This marriage is dissolved. We're adjourned. The gavel came down. For a moment, nobody moved. Then Whitney broke. She collapsed forward onto the table, sobbing. Not quiet crying, full, gasping sobs that echoed in the courtroom. Her whole body shook. Patricia put a hand on her shoulder, tried to say something, but Whitney wasn't hearing it. She kept crying, repeating no, no, no like a mantra. I stood up. Shook Troy's hand. Thank you, you earned this one, he said. Clean as they come. I picked up my briefcase and walked toward the exit. Whitney's lawyer was gathering her papers, face carefully neutral. Professional loss. In the hallway, Donovan was gone. Smart man. I was almost to the elevator when I heard footsteps behind me. Wait, I turned. Whitney, mascara streaked down her face, eyes red and swollen. How could you do this to me? Her voice cracked. I have nothing. Nothing. Do you understand that? I looked at her for a long moment. Really looked at her. And I felt nothing. No anger, no satisfaction, no sadness. Just done. You had everything, I said quietly. A home. Stability. Someone who worked himself to exhaustion to give you a comfortable life. I paid for every single thing for 8 years while you coasted. And you threw it away for what? Some fantasy with a real estate investor who just figured out you're a financial black hole? You're heartless. No. I'm done being your safety net while you chase whatever excitement you think you deserve. I adjusted my jacket. You wanted freedom from monogamy. I gave you freedom from my support. Enjoy it. I walked away. This time she didn't follow. 3 months later, I'm sitting in my house, drinking coffee on a Saturday morning. It's quiet. Peaceful. Through mutual friends, I heard Whitney and Donovan broke up 6 weeks after the hearing. Turns out he wasn't thrilled about bankrolling her entire life, especially after she'd lied about the divorce settlement. She moved into a 1-bedroom apartment on the other side of town. Drives a 10-year-old sedan now. Struggling on a teacher's salary without someone else paying for everything. She tried reaching out once. Long email about how we could still be friends, how she hoped I'd forgive her someday, how she was working on herself. I deleted it without finishing. A few people still think I was cruel. That I should have been more generous, more forgiving. They don't know the full story and I don't care to explain it to them, but most people who know what actually happened? They get it. I learned something important through all of this. I learned the difference between love and being used. I learned what I won't tolerate. I learned that sometimes the kindest thing you can do for yourself is walk away and let someone face the consequences of their choices without you there to soften the blow. Whitney wanted an open marriage so she could have everything, me, him, security, excitement, no sacrifice. Instead, she got an open future. One where every decision is hers to make and hers to pay for. And I'm okay with that. More than okay. For the first time in years, I'm finally at peace. Thank you so much for watching until the end. If you really like our videos, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Have a great day.